how much should I spend more money on purchasing the light?
That lighting prepare your digestion system and your body for that activity.
We are starting here a podcast that talks everything about fit out and construction.
White light even improves our taste of things.
How's that?
Affects our psychology a lot. It affects our hormones. It affects our mood.
Our hormones. Should I spend 1 million for
A million,
lighting?
please, a million.
Please, $1 million? Okay.
We're waiting for your money.
Hello everyone, this is Mohammed from Elisine Fit Out. We are starting here a podcast that talks everything about fit out and construction. We have with us engineer Khaldoon, a specialist in lighting products. So we will be talking about everything lighting, things that the customer should look out for, how to buy, how to design. So, Engineer Khaldoon, how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good, thank you.
Good. Please give us a brief about yourself.
Okay. I'm Khaldoon Al Noori. I'm electronics engineer by profession. I'm the founder and manager of two lighting companies. One is Quanta. Is about 20 years old company. In that company, we develop products and we distribute them to the market. Another company is an engineering company called Sadeem. That company serves the end user by providing all the requirement for lighting, from the products to design to installation, from A to Z.
Oh, okay, great. So you're an expert in lighting. Okay, great. Let's start with the basic questions. Why lighting is important?
Lighting is important for various things. I think you have noticed many times a place like, let's say, a coffee shop. A coffee shop can be very cozy, very beautiful, very inviting, and can be the opposite. One of the most important factors of attraction or repelling would be lighting. Sometimes you see a coffee shop that is very well decorated, is quite beautiful, but you feel that is wrong. It does not invite you. Most of that happens because of lighting. When the lighting is soft, warm, you feel that this is the right place to sit, relax, have a cup of coffee. While if the light is strong or white or wrongly distributed, you immediately feel something is wrong with that place. So lighting can be very vital. Also, sometimes you visit a place at daytime, you see very beautiful marble, very beautiful decoration. But when you visit the same place at night, you see very different story. You like to feel that the place is a bit dull. You find most of the beauty that you notice at daytime is not there. If that's the case, if you see very big difference between daytime and nighttime, that is because of lighting. It can also be the opposite. When you visit a place at night, is much more beautiful than when you see at daytime. Probably you have noticed that many times in hotels. In well-designed hotels, the place look much more beautiful at night compared to daytime. That's probably because of lighting.
So what is happening here exactly? Why lighting has this big effect? What is the main thing that lighting provides to the space that gives this drastic difference from day to night, let's say?
Okay. Lighting is to improve the functionality of things and to enhance the beauty of things and to highlight what you have done in your design. Lighting, a proper lighting design is used to highlight what you want to show, and you create a difference in the ambience, the looking that highlights things. You focus on something and try to hide something else that will enhance the beauty. It's something similar to painting, the use of colors on painting to tell your idea, to tell your story.
Yes.
So lighting plays the same kind of thing. It tells a story of the place. It communicates with the person through his vision to create an impression that the designer wants to deliver about the place.
So can we say that lighting affects psychology? Or the psychological state of the person?
Look, lighting affects our psychology a lot. It affects our hormones. It affects our mood.
Our hormones.
Yes, definitely.
How can it reach to such a...
Okay. Let's talk about how light affects various things in our health. When you sit to eat, light affects how your system, your digestion system, deal with the food. In the morning when you eat for energy and to go out to start your day. You need a lot of energy. That lighting prepare your digestion system and your body for that activity. The same thing at night. Your body get to relax after a long day of work. When you sit to eat, you need a warm light and a faint light. That prepare your body for relaxation and for the next cycle. Our bodies, through hundreds of thousands of years, have adapted to this kind of lighting, which is the same lighting that comes from the sun. When we wake up, the sun is a bit strong, is a bit bluish light. That kind of light gives us the signal that you are going to start the day. We need a lot of energy. We have a lot of things to prepare our body to do. The same light tends to be yellowish at the end of the day. That signals to our body it's time for relaxation. It's time for a completely new cycle. And of course, that cycle will end up with sleeping. So here, the hormones in our body is affected by that lighting directly. It also affects how we deal with things. For example, when you go to a workplace, you need a light that signals to your body productivity. That light should be a bit intense and should be tending to white color. Again, it is the same color that the suns give you during the beginning of the day. While when you go to a coffee shop, you need a soft, warm light that signals to your body is a relaxation time. So it calms you down and to prepare your body for that soft conversation.
For example, I have sometimes a conflict with my clients. They would like to have a white light in their house while they use it in their bedrooms. So if we are talking psychologically, having a white light in the bedrooms won't serve more than having a warm light, since our body is used to when there is a warm light in the space, it's used to relax more than white light. So is that something true, or depends on from person to person?
Most of it is a must. Is not something from person to person.
So what is a must?
Okay, let's take the various parts of your home and what is the right color. The operation center of the home is the kitchen and the living room. That place can serve two purposes. It can serve an operation center for work and the preparation, and it also can serve for the gathering of the family. The color of the light that is needed for different functions can be different. For the time when you are operating like an operation center, preparing food at kitchen, it should be white light. White light even improves our taste of things.
How is that?
As I said, it affects our hormones and our secretion of things. So it enhances the way you taste things. And it enhances also the way you differentiate a ripened food from unripened, and so on. While if that is the time for eating, you need a different light. You need a bit soft light. It should not be intense, and it should be a little bit warm because it's preparing your digestion system to deal with that food. Similar story happens at the living room. If it is for activity, for studying, or for family gathering for fun, you need a light that signals energy. While if this is happening a bit late at night, you need to prepare your system for relaxation and for the coming cycle of sleep. At the sleeping room, most of the time you need lighting at night. At that night, if it is white, it will disturb your sleeping. It will disturb even your mood because you are signaling to your body action and energy, at the time that your body is preparing to sleep. This is called circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm is the kind of adaptation of our body to the sunlight. At night, sunlight is a bit reddish, which is signaling to our body is the time of relaxation. The LED light by nature, the LED light by nature is a bit bluish. A bluish light is conceived by our brain as the light of the morning. So if you put that kind of lighting in your bedroom, it will signal something opposite to what is happening naturally at your body. Your body at night is preparing for the stage of sleeping. The bluish light is signaling something else. That's why now you see most of the electronics have adapted to this, and the screen color change automatically into a bit yellowish color to prepare your body. Because of our extensive use of electronics, scientists notice that it starts to disturb our natural cycle, our biological clock. So they have adjusted the electronics, and we also need to adjust our lighting at bedroom to be always yellow light, and should be always not strong light, so that it does not disturb that circadian rhythm of our bodies.
You have explained the psychological effect that the lighting has on the person that uses it. What is the effect of it in the place that I'm living in? For example, in the villa, like I'm designing a villa, or I'm designing an office. Okay, I will look to the psychological aspect of the lighting. What other aspects should I look at?
Lighting add value to the place. When you enter a place, the first thing that your eye will notice is the decoration. You normally don't look directly at lighting, and you don't need to. But lighting gives you the impression of the value of the place. If the lighting job was done properly, you will feel that this place is cozy and luxury and comfortable. And you will feel that a lot of effort have been spent and a lot of money have been spent on that place. The opposite can be true. If the lighting design is not done properly, and the lighting job and the lighting quality, it will undervalue that place. You will see that this place look big, a lot of stuff have been spent in decoration, but it does not really look beautiful. You feel that something wrong in that place. So when you put a lot of effort and you do your villa with love, and you have a very big budget on that villa, that budget, if it is not spent properly on lighting, most of what you have done will not really show as you have expected.
Okay, so now let's hold a second. We went into budget and into design and all these things. If I'm a new customer, where should I start? Guide me, because now we have went into budget and into designing, into the temperature of lights. So I have zero information about this as a customer that doesn't have any experience in the fit-out field or in the construction field. What do you think is the best place to start with, and the sequence? So let's say you start in this place, then you go to this and this and this.
Lighting always should start with design, the lighting design. So let's talk about what is the lighting design. Lighting design is very simple. It's 2 words only. It's the art of science of placing your lights. The science behind it is all about the technicalities. What kind of light, where you should put it, and what's the required luminous or watt of that light. A lot of technicalities, the color of that light. But there is another more important component, beauty or art. Is not only something technical that you should calculate very precisely. It's an art that enhances the beauty. It has a lot of analogy to painting. In a painting, it starts with a paper or canvas and some colors. It can be just some simple drawing that you throw after you try, or it can be a very valuable painting that worth thousands, 100,000, sometimes million. You have heard so many times about painting that worth millions and everybody talking about it. But that painting is still a piece of canvas and some colors. Same story applies to lighting. It's an art. So how you place those lights to enhance the beauty and to show what you want to show and to tell the story is an art. It cannot be just simply studied or calculated. It needs an artist who enhance this kind of beauty. So lighting design is simply those two things. Those two things are very hard to combine together.
Why?
Because the technical part is very scientific. You need to study, you need a lot of technicalities, you need to calculate. That is different from the art. So an artist cannot be a scientist at the same time. It's very hard. If somebody can do, he's a very brilliant person. He will be extremely, extremely successful. So many people will be asking for him. It's not easy to get that person.
But isn't that a lighting designer?
Yes, but that is a sophisticated lighting designer. If he can really master the science and the art of lighting. Most of the time, those designers can be more good in one of those parts. That's why, in many cases, two guys cooperate to do the lighting design.
Who are these two guys? Or these two persons?
It can be the architect who designed the place, or it can be the interior designer. And they need a technical guy who is a technical lighting designer to do the calculation, to make sure that their design fits, and to make sure the functionality part of the light works well.
So when does this guy get introduced, the lighting specialist? At which stage of the project? For example, I have a designer who designed my villa. He put the furniture layout and he put spots as per his experience. Of course, when having a lighting engineer, this gives, let's say, a wider aspect of for the lighting. So does the lighting specialist get introduced after the furniture layout is done?
Lighting is all about enhancing your decoration, beside, of course, its functionality. So at the right time for introducing the lighting design, when you come to the furnitures, when you come to the interior design part, the interior designer have some idea about where to place the lights, how to enhance the beauty of his own design, but he cannot master the science of that. It needs a lot of technicalities. Those kind of technicalities is the role of the lighting designer who come to make sure that everything is right from the technical perspective. So that kind of design will go back and forth between those two guys. Each care about his own part, and together they make sure that both the functionality and the beauty is right.
Okay, these two parties most often have a fight with the client himself. The designer says something, the technical engineer says something, or the technical lighting specialist, but the owner wants something completely different. He wants a light that he saw in his friend's villa. So how to tackle this challenge? Because seeing something in someone else's villa, okay, maybe it looks nice in that atmosphere or in that place, but copying it in your villa also may ruin your entire theme or your entire atmosphere. So from your experience, how did you tackle such challenges?
The most missing part here is communication. A lot of communication is needed between those three parties: the lighting designer, the interior designer, and the owner. The owner, of course, have a lot of things to say. It's his taste, after all, that should be implemented. But also, he is not equipped and knowledgeable enough to decide all the details. So the lighting designer job is to educate the customer and guide him. Sometimes, even if the client wants something, the designer should take him in another direction. In some other parts, he need to follow. For example, the place that you use for sitting you have some right to say if you want intense light or soft light. You can also request intense light sometimes and soft light some other times.
Or maybe you, as you just said, sometimes the same place has two different activities.
Exactly.
So it can have a white light or a warm light or a yellow light, let's say.
Exactly. So the job of the lighting designer is, and also of course the interior designer, is to understand the kind of usage of the place, because the lighting will follow the functionality of the place. So those guys can ask the owner about his intention of using the place, what kind of people for what activity, and then they do the lighting design job according to the actual using of that place. The owner also can have some say on the, let's say, the colors of the lighting design.
But isn't that related to psychology, as you said? For example, he wants a white light in the bedroom, which indicates sunrise, while he wants to sleep. So, how to solve that with them?
Sometimes when there is a real conflict, in reality, we solve it by something called a tunable light or lighting layers.
What is that?
Suppose the client insists on intense light on his bedroom, and intense light that is also white, and whatever the designer explained that this is not the right lighting for the place, but the owner is not convinced. In this case, one solution is to give two options. Those two options can be done by two types normally. Either we have two layers of lighting, that means two sources of lighting. He can switch this source on or that source on according to his own convenience. Or we can do the same lighting that has something called a tunable white. Tunable white means that simply you can adjust the color of the light. I will talk later on about what is the color of light, because when we talk here about color of light, it's not the green and a blue light. It is about white color, but it have a little bit variation in its color, something similar to what you see from the sunlight. Sometimes it is very white, sometimes it is a little bit orange, and so on. We call this tuning your white. So we can use a new technology that is becoming very now prominent in LED, where you can simply rotate a knob to adjust the color temperature of the light to your own taste. So in this case, the owner, if he insists to use some other color temperature of the light, he can use that. But with time, we guess that he will adjust to the right light because it can be felt directly by his lifestyle.
That's a lot of information, I think, for a client. So let's guide them again. So he does the furniture design. He finishes it. He finishes the furniture design. He asks a lighting specialist to join with the designer. Okay, so then what's the next step? Okay, of course, he gives his feedback on what is the functionality of the room and how he likes to use it, what is the temperature that he prefers. So we go to all of these technicalities. Now, the client has given all of this information to the designer and the lighting specialist. So what is the next step that the client should expect?
The next step will be the implementation. After making the design, then the time comes to choosing the right lighting components that provide this design. It is not easy here for the owner to contribute and buy those lights simply by himself. It can be done, but normally he also needs the help of a professional guy or a lighting company that guides him to the right light that do the job of that design. And after all of this is done, a simple mock-up normally is done to make sure that this light gives what the owner is expecting and is looking for. If that went well, then everybody for the final step of implementation.
So I have invested, I don't know how much money in this lighting designer that has designed the lighting in my villa. how much should I spend more money on purchasing the light? For example, my villa I'm renovating for 3 million or 6 million. Should I spend 100,000? Should I spend 500,000? Should I spend 1 million for
A
lighting?
million, please, a million.
Please, a million? Okay.
Waiting for your money. Look, the lighting budget is the most confusing for everybody. It's even confusing for lighting companies. I will explain to you why is quite confusing and how to tackle it. When you build your house, the difference between saving money and going to the top quality of luxury in various components of your building is, in fact, a small range. It can be from 1 to 5 times, like your joinery, your aluminum, your glass, even your furniture. The furniture from a basic furniture to a luxury furniture maybe can be 10 times difference in value, but this is not the case in lighting. The lighting difference in value can be enormous, can be really shocking. It can be, let's talk about spotlight. The most prominent part of LED lighting probably is the spotlight. A spotlight can be few dirhams, really few dirhams, and it comes with warranty, and it can be thousands of dirhams. It can be 50 dirhams. It can be 100. It can be 500. It can be anywhere in between.
Is it really worth it to spend 500, 1,000? I know the lights that you're talking about. I've seen them. But is it worth it as in a technical point of view? I can buy, as you said, I can buy a light for 20. I can buy a light for 4,000 dirham. So
that's the confusing part. Which one you should buy? Before I go to that, let me use the analogy of watches. Watches is also very confusing. You can buy a nice watch for a few hundred dirhams. You can buy for
20 million.
You can buy for 100 or 1,000. You can buy for 1 million. Which watch is the right for you? It's also not easy. In lighting, we already said there's a component of a beauty and art. Whenever there's that component, the spectrum widens. It's not only something very technical, like, for example, aluminum. It's the quality of aluminum and functionality, and that's it. Here, we have the beauty component. So, a simple light can do the job, can give you light, but it cannot give you the beautiful light and the comfortable light that you are looking for. A simple light that is a few dirham will undervalue a luxury place. The component of a beauty in light comes from the light it gives, how much that light will render the beauty of the place, which is something technically we call, for example, the color rendering index. It can show you the beauty of red, blue, green, or it can make those colors dull. It can affect how you conceive the beauty of the place. It can cause headache, or it can cause comfort to your eye. All of that is reflected, of course, on the price. And another component, which is very important, how much that light preserves its dignity.
What does that mean?
When you buy a beautiful light, you like it and you respect it. Will you respect it 2 years later? Will it become dull, ugly, faint, shift in its color of the light or the color of the body? So some lights will lose dignity over time. Some other lights will keep its beauty over a long period of time. Of course, all of that reflects on the price of the item. To make it simple, you need to spend a percentage of the value of your renovation into lighting. According to our experience, normally is around 5%. So whatever you are spending, forget the land cost, forget the furniture, everything else that you are spending, you can assume that 5% of that is the value of your lighting. This, of course, can vary mainly because of two things. Chandeliers can have even bigger range, and it can be few or can be many. And outdoor lighting. Outdoor lighting is very expensive. If you have a big landscape that you want to make as a 5-star luxury hotel, it can increase the budget. Or if you have a simple garden that you just need to light up, it can reduce your budget. Generally speaking, as a rule of thumb, you can use 5% of your construction budget. Yes. And there is also another component that's normally a bit neglected in light design, which is where you place the drivers. Normally, the lighting design don't go into that much of details.
So explain what is a driver before going to the problem.
In almost all LED lighting, the light is composed of two parts, the LED part and the driver. The driver part is the electronic part that gives power to this light, and the LED is responsible to producing the light. The drivers normally should be combined in a place and put in one spot. That spot should be accessible for maintenance. This part is part of the wiring, not part of the lighting design. That's why the lighting designer in many cases don't bother to think about where is that happening. Here comes the contractor. The contractor think about the actuality of the implementation, the wiring, and the access. Those drivers might need maintenance over time. If that happened, there should be a clear access point. And we also suggest the owner to buy some extra drivers and keep that. It's a good idea to keep the same batch of driver, not to come and ask for a similar driver after a few years. Because also there is a matter of compatibility between those drivers and the LED. So once that is guaranteed at the buying time, it's better to buy some extra driver and use for the future. And with the right implementation of the access point, it's very easy to find those drivers, open, check, and replace. So here also is part of the responsibility of the contractor.
So you just mentioned having a spotlight, having LED light, having a strip light, all of these modern things. I have clients that don't like modern. They like classical. They like chandeliers, wall lights, all of these classical components. How to address them? Because you only address the minimal and the, let's say, modern aspect of lighting. We have a complete spectrum of clients that love classical.
Look, the modern approach of lighting is the minimalism, hiding the lighting source and enjoy the beauty of the lighting effect. This is what is going on for most of the modern building. But of course, there are still people who want to play the old style way. Those guy like the very classic looking, very outdated, maybe, or very historic looking.
Yeah, you. Sorry to interrupt. You just said that form follows function, but at this case in the classical, it's function follows form, because I have a classical design, and I need a classical chandelier, so I cannot put a light that I like or give an effect on this corner. No, I want a chandelier. That's it. So most probably sometimes the spaces change because of the chandelier that I have. So now the light is the masterpiece of the room in terms of the classical, because they have a lot of, let's say, big pieces, like statement pieces that are in the middle of the room. And the furniture goes around it. It's not the other way around. It's not that the light follows the furniture. It's the furniture follows the light. So, like, what can we give an advice to the people who like classical design?
This can be true when you design a restaurant or a lobby, if it is very classical, the chandelier will be a very center point in the design. But even in that case, the main source of lighting might not be the chandelier. There will be hidden source of lighting, and the chandelier will come to add beauty and establish the theme of the place. But in home design, in villa, this is seldom the case. A chandelier can come to enhance the beauty of the space, but it's seldom the center of attraction that everything else is built around. So even if you want a classical look in your villa, still the concept of lighting design apply. Still many of the light source will be hidden and giving indirect light, and a beautiful chandelier can come to add up to the beauty of the place, but it will not be the main source of lighting, because the chandelier is a centerpiece. We don't want the light to be centered in one place. That is not really the most comfortable to the eye, and that is not really a cozy a feature of the place. So we can keep the chandelier, but the light of the chandelier is maybe 30% of the light that is lighting the place.
But believe me, I met a lot of people that are sufficient with the chandelier. That's it. Because this is the way that they want their lighting to be. So is there any advice we can give them? Okay, I have a chandelier and they design their house around this chandelier or around this like pendant or whatever classical lighting is there.
Yes, of course. For the chandelier, if it is in the middle of the ceiling and you want most of the light coming from that chandelier, that is something we don't recommend. But if you will use distributed wall brackets, you will use some table lamps, some floor table lamps. Yes, that can add to the beauty. The more lighting is distributed, the more the lighting goes to the direction of the floor, not to the ceiling, the more the beauty. So the most important is that we don't want the chandelier that is at the center of the room to produce most of the light of that room. We want the light to come from somewhere else, and that can be still a classical source.
Which is wall lights or
Wall light and table lamps. Table lamps can be very beauty, can be very classical, and can add to the coziness of the place. So that's the advice we give. You can use a very classical approach, but distribute the lighting as much as possible and shift your lighting more to the floor than to the ceiling.
So we discussed earlier the temperature of lights. So explain to us, what do you mean by that?
It's a bit confusing term, right? Temperature, what does temperature has to do with lighting? This term is to describe the whiteness of the light. A color temperature is a term used technically to describe the components of either red or white in a light. A perfect white light has an equivalent of temperature to about 4,000 degree Kelvin. When the light is 4,000 degree Kelvin, that means it's actually white. This is the white light that you will see when you buy your clothes from a proper shop. They will use 4,000 to reflect the real color of the fabric. Or when you buy furnitures. Also, if the lighting job is done properly, they will use 4,000 color temperature for light, because it's actually the real white color. But the color also can be more white. Sometimes we conceive that 4,000 K white as a little bit yellowish, especially for people living in a hot environment in the desert. They like pure white, or what is we technically call bluish white.
What is the number of that light? So
That light can be 5,000 color temperature, 6,000, even more. Long ago, companies like Philips introduced lights that are 12,000 in color temperature. That is very, very bluish, but some people like it. Because of the hot temperature, People enjoy bluish light. It feels freshness. But that kind of light has problems to the eye. It can cause headache. It can cause discomfort if you use it for a long time. So the recommended white light is 5 to 6,000. Seldom we go above 6,000. On the other hand, the light can be yellowish. That corresponds to a lower color temperature. So a light that is around 3,000 will become yellow. We call it warm white. That light is similar to the light of the sun at the end of the day. And that's the light that we recommend for most parts of the house as a light that will give you the kind of softness, the kind of relaxation that you need.
What's the number of that?
It's normally around 3,000. It can be 2,700. That will be extra yellow, a little bit orange. It can be 3,000 or it can be 3,300, where people want the warm white, but they don't want it to be very yellow in color, so they go to 3,300. By the way, as you know, I was in Hong Kong a month ago to attend the lighting fair. And this fair, what is it trending? What is most of the companies I found is introducing product is the circadian lighting. That means that light will automatically adapt to the daytime. The same light source will give you a light that is high color temperature in the morning, let's say 6,000, 7,000, and it will shift gradually to 4,000 at the middle of the day, and it will shift to 4,000, 3,000 at the end of the day. It's very automatically, so that your body also adapt to this or respond to this as it is a natural light. That is the most probably advancing technique now in LED to reflect this natural cycle of the day in your own house. And it start to be at a very reasonable price. Before this is considered sophisticated technology, now is becoming available for everybody.
Okay, engineer. Now, let's talk about common mistakes. Everybody does mistakes. What I have noticed is that client does most of the mistakes because he doesn't listen to the specialists. We have talked about not including the contractor into the design of the lighting. We have talked about lighting that the client chooses the light that he likes from his friend's house. We have talked about the old-fashioned way of designing light, which is just putting as much light as possible in the area so that it lights without thinking about saving the energy or reducing your electrical bill. What other common mistakes, or let's say, what is one of the major mistakes that you see happen while choosing the light that we haven't discussed?
The most frustrating mistake that keep happening again and again and again and again is the budget. Most of the time, clients have spent a year or two paying money for their construction here and there. They fed up. They feel exhausted. Then they come with lighting and they want to squeeze the budget. They come and say, we have only left 15 or 20,000 for our entire lighting. Can you do us a lighting with this budget? And sometimes that villa is 10, 15, 20, 30 million. Recently, a friend who had a villa that was more than 60 million want to limit his lighting budget to 15 to 20,000 dollars.
I think he spent most of his budget on the furniture, maybe, or like what happened?
All the way around, all the way through the construction, he's paying a lot of money. He wanted luxury, of course. A villa that worth 60 million, everything is luxury. But because he did that for a long time, he feels fed up of spending money. A lighting job can be done, probably technically, can be done with a very limited budget. But it will destroy the place. The whole thing that had been spent on that villa will be destroyed because of lighting budget. For us, we will say simply sorry, we cannot do it. Technically, we can provide such lights, but we know that it will ruin his villa, it will ruin our reputation. Then comes the difficult part of convincing him what is right and what should be the budget for the lighting for those villas. And we understand how confusing it is. As I said, there are lightings that are very affordable. Maybe he heard from his friends about a beautiful lighting that they want and bought from Dragon Market or from whatever in the market that costs pennies, and it looks beautiful, functional. So he will find it very confusing why he should spend hundreds of dirhams for a piece that his friend bought for few dirhams. Then here we need to spend a lot of time showing him the difference between those kind of lighting, what this will provide and that what will provide. And most of the time, he will be convinced to find the right lighting source, and he will definitely increase his lighting budget to something reasonable. But the question will be, is it increased to the really value that we think is suitable for his villa or not? That varies a lot between clients.
Okay, engineer, thank you so much for your valuable time. If people want to reach out for you or get your services, how to reach out to you, and what services do you provide that distinguish you from your competitors?
For us at Sadeem Lighting, we can provide a free of charge lighting design. As I said, if we supply those lights, then we will deduct the charges that is introduced by the lighting design. So basically, it's like providing a free of charge lighting design. Also at Sadeem Lighting, we have a range of lightings that can suit various kinds of clients. As I said, I have 2 lighting companies. Each have different kind of products and different levels. So whatever the kind of budget that he's looking for or is right for him, it can be provided at our company. But most of the time, we prefer clients that really understand the importance of lighting and go for the lighting that is suitable for their value of the villa. And we have the right team to instruct them, show them, guide them, illuminate the difference between different kind of products, and we will not settle until the owner is convinced why he is buying this and why this is the right lighting for him.
Okay, great. And where can we find you?
Our company is located in Al Zahia. Sadeem Lighting is located in a boutique villa in Al Zahia, where we have the staff who will do all the required job. We also have all the samples to show to the client.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time. It was great having you.
It's my pleasure looking to cooperate with you, installing our lights for your clients.
Of course. We have already done that, so and to the next project, of course. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe or follow on whichever platform you are, and let us know which subject you want us to talk about in the next episode. We are Elisine Fit Out. If you have any requirements you need in terms of designing or the contracting services, we are here for you. And thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next episode.